Science fiction takes what we know about our physical world and our species within it. It adds a what if, and it allows that situation to pose questions about who we think we are, our identity and agency as individual people, as a society, and as a species. Science fiction acknowledges a fundamental part of the human condition is being alone, an individual whose thoughts and feelings are only experienced in isolation, but who, in spite of that intrinsic isolation, is also connected, part of a community and a society, with free will, but with elements of our destiny chosen for us, not least that our individual life must end. Science fiction explores what meaning we can find in a universe that is fundamentally beyond our comprehension and beyond our control. So if I want to call a series that did all of this with exceptional wit, emotional articulacy, gothic artistry, and some of the strongest horror fantasy imagery of my lifetime, science fiction, then I am going to. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was about so much more than saving the world. It was really about your power to make your own world worth saving.
If you want to fit in here, the first rule is know your losers. Once you can identify them all by sight, they're a lot easier to avoid.
Why don't we start with, hi, I'm Buffy, and then let's segue directly into me asking you for a favor. It doesn't involve moving, but it does involve hanging out with me for a while.
But aren't you hanging out with Cordelia?
I can't do both.
Not legally.
Being a hero didn't mean you walked around feeling like you were better than everybody else. What made Buffy a role model was not as simple as her action hero status or excellent wardrobe, though of course those things were fun. It was her emotional intelligence that made her a thoroughly human superhero.
You burned down the gym.
I did, I really did, but you're not seeing the big picture here. I mean, that gym was full of asbestos.
She was the strongest person in the room, and she always acted with empathy, truly using her powers for good, however hard the circumstances were.
Well, the chatter in the calf is that she got kicked out, and that's where her mom had to get a new job. Neg. Pa, she was starting fights. Neg Lee. Well, I would have been blue, and she said it.
Each monster the Slayer fights is based on a significant, psychologically accurate point about how individuals and communities relate and the emotional traps our fears and insecurities push us into. From the mother literally living through her cheerleader daughter.
Another productive day in front of the TV.
To the kid who feels invisible, so ends up becoming so.
Oh, great.
Why is she always trying to...
And with the hellmouth below us sending out mystical energy.
People perceived Marcy as invisible, and she became so.
With the solution to each problem just as psychologically accurate, like the mother who ends up trapped in her own image of her own past in the statue of the cheerleader, or the invisible girl finally joining her invisible class.
Welcome, Marcy.
Hey.
Class, this is Marcy.
Hi, Marcy.
Sit down.
With understanding and solving your problems, you truly lay them to rest.
You were a lousy clown. Your balloon animals were pathetic. Everyone can make a giraffe.
Whether that's Xander shouting at his childhood fear when that's brought to life, or the demon internet. Or the predatory adults who will mate with you or kill you in the guise of caring.
You blamed him for losing the game. So you caught up with him afterwards, didn't you?
What are you talking about?
You said it was my fault that we lost.
Each monster is recognised for the problem it represents and finally laid to rest. Just as Gene Roddenberry saw humanity's positive future and put it in outer space, Joss Whedon saw humanity's turbulent present and put it in an American high school on the mouth of hell. Both showed us who we could be individually and collectively if we were brave enough not to just watch injustice happen around us, but to stand up for the world we wanted to be part of. Buffy didn't choose to be the only person standing between our world and its destruction. Her personal battle is always to lead a meaningful life on her own terms, without giving up on her ethics and responsibility. Buffy creates her own world and her own destiny. She is not limited by what is written about her. And it is through hope and being able to interpret and recreate the world that you want that each character grows, develops, and finds out who they are. You can be friends with who you want. You can date somebody your mates think is a separate species. You can always beat destiny, adapt what's written, find your own meaning, and come through stronger. Buffy pays the price, but never sacrifices being who she is as a human in order to be the hero she has no choice but to be.
Buffy.